guys, welcome to my channel. My name is Salome. On this channel, we talk about all things women and how women can access financing and how women can make financing work for them. On today's episode, we're going to talk about village banking. What is village banking? In 2006, Muhammad Yunus was awarded a Nobel Peace Prize for pioneering a way that people that were too poor to access conventional loans from the bank could have access to microcredit and microfinance. In simpler terms, village banking awards you the opportunity to earn an interest on the money you're putting away as savings. Village banking is a community-based approach, so you need to know your tribe, who shares similar characteristics with what you're looking for in terms of your group, your members, because you need to be accountable for each other, you will need to trust each other, you would need to come up with an airtight constitution, you will need to know how your loans are applied, how your savings grow. Transparency is also a very important factor when you're doing village banking with the community. To enable this, we actually advise that you have a WhatsApp group. We also advise that you have regular meetings. Unfortunately, because of COVID, these meetings are not quite possible. However, there's a way that you can trust your treasurer to be able to provide you with the content and also the way that you're going to follow up on your investments. Every healthy village banking should have an executive committee. What consists of an executive committee? You should have a very knowledgeable treasurer who is able to understand the numbers, understand how your savings and loans are growing, because someone who understands compound interest will be able to provide each and every member with their current portfolio at the time, in real time and in a way that's easy to understand. Secondly, you need a chairperson. This chairperson needs to be someone who has leadership qualities, someone who can drive the group, someone who is in constant communication with the treasurer and the other executive committee members. These are the two most important members of your executive committee, but you are free to add more members. You will need to have a money counter. Unfortunately, again, due to COVID, there's no need for a money counter per se, because this money is being done electronically. So that brings in another point of having an account. Either you can use the treasurer's account, which I don't really recommend unless you trust your treasurer, but I recommend having a separate account where the chairman and the treasurer both sign, just so you're securing your money. I highly recommend that due to the COVID situation that you have your meetings via Zoom or WhatsApp call. This will also help you with transparency because you'll be able to follow the proceedings of the group. So I hope you took out your pens and your papers, because now we're getting into the meat of what village banking is and what you need to know to do it well. I will share with you the sample constitution that we use to govern our village banking group, and we've been using it for the last 2 years. Part 1, governance of the village banking scheme group. 1. Basic information of the village banking group. You will need to have a name for your village banking group. You will need to have the date of formation, the cycle. Is it a 6-month cycle or 12-month cycle? This you will need to know from the onset, just so that the whole village banking group is together on board and able to follow as to when they're going to get their share out. Members, you need to agree as to the maximum and minimum number that your village banking is going to have. What is the objective of the group? Is it business related or personal related? You need to understand what your main mission of forming this group is. The objective of your village banking group needs to be clear and concise, and that is to save and to borrow. Anything else that the objective of the group has, you should make sure that it's clearly stipulated in your constitution. You must have your KYC in place. Your passport size photos, NRC, tip-in, your residential address, all need to be properly and carefully analyzed in terms of due diligence of your group. You need to understand and put in place very strict policies and procedures. There should be zero tolerance to defaults. By this I mean if a member fails to put in their savings or repay a loan for a particular month, we will not carry forward that member. Basically, when and where is your meeting going to be held? Is it electronic? If it's electronic, you still need to stick to a set date. If it's physical, you will still need to have where the meeting is and also what time your meeting is. For security purposes, always send the location of your meeting at least 1 or 2 hours before the meeting. Your next part is social support. Do you have a social scheme underlying? Do you do birthdays, or do you have a different kind of chilimba that you've incorporated in your group just to help just the finances of your group, just something that you enjoy as a group? Because again, village banking shouldn't be, it should be like a place where you will seek refuge. You're able to be comfortable with your tribe, you're able to be comfortable with your village banking group members. The final part of your constitution. All the members should append their signatures so that it becomes a legally binding document. Let me say that again. Your approval of all members should be shown by every member putting down their signature that they have read and understood and will abide by the rules stipulated in that constitution. No one can feign ignorance. Ignorance is not an excuse. As a bonus, I'm going to share with you some tips that have worked for me in my village banking groups. 1, just because you can doesn't mean you should. By this, most village banking groups say that you should borrow 3 times your savings. But if you don't have the capability for it, I suggest you borrow 3 times your initial savings. By this I mean, let's say you put in your savings 10,000 kwacha as your initial deposit. You can access 30,000 kwacha because this interest is going to be taken up due to the interest that you're earning on a monthly basis. 2, put your largest deposit first. By this, what I mean is you should always endeavor to put your largest deposit as your first deposit in your village banking group. Thereafter, you can make smaller deposits such as 500 kwachas, anything that is comfortable for you. 3, you should make sure that you analyze your portfolio. Your portfolio should never go out of hand and give you problems to pay back, because 1, you're impacting the group's position. You're making your village banking group unhealthy, and your village banking group is going to fail just because 1 member couldn't keep track of their finances. Don't borrow for consumption. Make sure that you're borrowing for investment so that you're able to pay back that money that you've borrowed from the investment that you've made. Here's a word from a few members of our village banking group.
My name is Annie Mleya, or you can call me Mrs. Nyambe, it doesn't matter. I want to tell you about village banking, the way this thing have really worked for me. I've been in a group of village banking with some ladies. That was last year. I experienced a lot of things. Then it's like I got interested, even though it was not really the way I'm enjoying to the village banking I am now. I started this village banking in this year, 2020 March, with Sampa Mwansa, who is called Mrs. Chilambwe, the mother of 1 kid. This woman, seriously, she has taken me a long way. We started this village banking, she introduced it nicely, because at first it's like I just joined it without knowing what I'm doing. But now, seriously, I'm enjoying because I'm able to calculate, even to know how much I'm saving every month, the total figure I have. Come December, we are sharing and we are starting a new one. And I tell you, the money I'll get by December, it will be something like 37,000 plus. I paid for my plot in Chongwe. I've started building. As I'm talking now, it is approaching to window level. Come December, I know I'm going to finish through the village banking group. This Chilimba, it is a very good program. Those who are not in this group, please find yourself, look for it to those who know it. They will explain it better to who is Samba Mwansa Chilambwe Salome. This girl, she really does a lot in this group. Thank you.
If you have more questions about village banking, please don't hesitate to contact me. You can either create your own village banking group with the tips that I've given you, or you could join mine. So if these tips have been useful for you, don't forget to subscribe to our channel, and don't forget, mask up and stay blessed.